Hello, and welcome back to Sharing a Chapter a Day. This is Dara, and today I will be reading Chapter 26 of Engagement in Peril by Dara Odoe. Chapter 26 is titled Affectionate. The next day at school was somewhat strange. I found out where Suzanne lived, and it turned out to be about 100 feet away from where I was, just a hop over my fence into the alley and a jump over her back concrete wall, and there I would be, at her house. Strange, I thought. Well, I wasn't sure how Suzanne and I hooked up and became a couple. I guess it just happened. Or was it something else that led me to being with her? Now, Suzanne and I began to talk and converse more since then, and our affection began to blossom as we spent more time together, one could say. And it seemed that Suzanne had also talked to her friend about her interest in me as well. Perhaps I was some kind of pawn in their game of stringing him along and then crush him in the long run? I remember now, in one of our classes together, I had asked Suzanne if she was walking home again. And to my luck, she was. I asked if I could walk with her, and she agreed to my request. That day after school, I eagerly waited for the three girls by the picnic benches outside on the school's playground after school was out. It was Suzanne, her sister, and her friend Sakum, who would be walking home with us. It was weird at first, why we walked together, until it became routine. Suzanne and I were walking near each other, almost in step, as if though we were marching to the same beat, the same heartbeat we should have had then. We were in sync, and we often smile and giggle as we walk alongside one another. We chit-chat here and there about this and that, making small talks and such, you know. What teen talks about then? Homework and such, the gossip of the day of course, and who we saw, and who did what. Trivial adolescent talks. That's all. Eventually this walking home together became routine all of a sudden. And since we were going the same direction, why not walk together? Her dad would bring her and her sister to school every morning, and then they would walk home with me after school. I was more than happy to have a companion or two to accompany me on my venture home, and it seemed that I was slowly falling for this girl. I felt that Suzanne's intellect attracted me most to her. She was quite bright, sometimes much brighter than me. Was it just a ruse, or was it just that? No, it wasn't. It was something more than mere intellect. She seemed to have it all, a large heart and big aspirations for her future. She dreamt of becoming a medical doctor one day when she grows up. So she told me during one of our nonchalant conversations of this and that. We became good friends after a while. We exchanged phone numbers and such. Slowly but surely, I was introduced to the it crowd, and eventually Kelly began noticing me as well. She had stated one time that I was smart and athletic, who is wholesome and easily liked by others. And it was weird hearing that from the girl who wanted to punish me for my mischievous words months earlier. But I was more than happy to hear that from Kelly because I was still stuck on her. I was stuck on that girl. The girl that I longed to have and had complimented me for no particular reason at all. The 8th crowd knew I was smart, but they were shocked and surprised to know that I had gotten all A's so far the entire semester of our 8th grade year together. They began to ask me questions about homework and such, and I began to hang out with the 8th crowd during lunch, recess, and between passing period. The 8th girls began to notice my guys friends as well. You know, those low-life scum who had no cares in the world are now getting to be noticed by the popular people as well. I guess it's who you associate with then. Since I was being brought into the world of popularity, they allowed me to string along my friends as well. The popular girls would watch us play our one-foot games on the blacktop and other sporting activity during lunch. Even to some point they were cheering us on. Strange it may be, my friends and I began to feel accepted as well from the other cliques around about the school grounds. From my relations and attachment to Suzanne and Kelly, my friends were becoming noticed too, and we were all good about that. Our miserable lives were getting better. So we all had thought. Little did we know what's in store for us in the long run. As the year went on, Suzanne and I seemed to get closer and closer. More than just friends. I think that she had told Sakum that she really liked me in that boyfriend-girlfriend kind of ways. One day, all four of us were walking home again, like usual. And like before, Suzanne and I would walk in steps and chatted up front, while her sister and her friend were behind us. All of a sudden, Sakum came from behind and took Suzanne's right hand and placed it in my left hand and stated, "Suzanne likes you." I smiled and held onto Suzanne's hand snugly once Sakum placed her warm, tingling hand in mine. Suzanne, somewhat embarrassed and red in the face, held tightly and firmly to my hand as well, as we walked on toward our home and apartment several more blocks away from Sakum's place behind Polly. The entire time we walked home, our hands clung to each other. Our palms were sweaty, but neither of us wanted to let go. Like always, we parted ways on Olive Avenue, but this time we took a little longer to say goodbye. We held hands and just smiled, and with few words we were just exchanging caressing contact that comforted both of our hearts. After a few long minutes, her sister Annie complained that we had to get home. So we both came to a realization and let go of each other's firm grip and said goodbye for the rest of the day. The next day we began exchanging phone numbers and seemed to be much closer than before. We held hands during lunch and recess and even sat closer together in class. After a while, words went around that Susan and I were officially a couple. Kelly congratulated us on and cheered us on for being the new couple. In the back of my mind, I was still hung up on Kelly, but I didn't bother letting anyone know of my devious way of thinking and passions for Kelly still, especially Suzanne. I didn't want to hurt the girl. She was really wonderful to me and good for me then. After all, she was my rescuing angel, and I will always cherish her for that. As time passed and our relations straightened, Suzanne and I had gotten closer and closer personally and physically. During one morning where the middle school students were off from school due to holiday, Suzanne asked if I would like to walk her and her younger brother to school because he was on year-round school. I was more than happy to, because I wanted to be with her. I arrived at their home early that morning, making sure that her parent wasn't around. I waited outside on their front porch for them to get ready, and then we all walked together to his school. Her younger brother seemed a little spoiled and kept asking who I was and stared at me as though I was invading his personal space. We walked to Hill Street and then Atlantic Avenue and dropped him off at his Burnett Elementary School, and then returned to her home on Olive Street. We walked back to her house and turned out that it would be the first time that I would be invited into their home. She and I stood outside on the front porch, hiding behind one of the support beam pillars, talking and holding hands in one of the corner's house porch. Some minutes passed and we finally began to kiss our first kiss, our lips closing toward each other, and softly we kissed. It was the first time that we both kissed each other, and it was actually my very first kiss on the lip with a girl. So the whole deal was all new to us. Well, to me. Well, at least it was new to me, as I found out sometime later that she had kissed several boys before she was gotten to me. It was quite exciting for me then. I was learning to kiss for the first time, not counting all the imagination and wet dreams I had about my past crushes and fascination, of course. I was actually kissing an actual girl with soft, tender lips that morning. My heart beat faster and faster, and those tingling and weird sensation that I once had when I am around Kelly, it was now running through me with Suzanne. We didn't know what we were doing, so we kissed and hugged in front of her house, hidden behind one of the wooden beams that upheld her front porch canopy. We were both there in each other's arm, exposing our young love to the whole world that early moist morning. Or at the very least, to her surrounding neighbors and before God. While Annie and her sister was inside cleaning up their living room, she saw us making out. So Annie snuck her head outside the front door and stated that the neighbors were watching us, and then Suzanne dragged me into her house and had me sit on their couch. She had me watch the morning cartoon that was airing then. This was the first time I had actually been inside their cozy home. While I smiled and sat quietly and watching the cartoon programming, Suzanne went to help Annie clean up the house as I watched them, reminiscing about what had just happened outside minutes ago. Their parents had gone to work at their donut ice cream shop about 30 plus blocks in North Long Beach, off of Atlantic and 56th Street. But I was afraid that their parent might come home and catch me in their house, so I was wary, and at various times would look outside, making sure they weren't coming home. After cleaning up, Suzanne offered me some food and drinks while we sat on the couch together, holding hands and sneaking little kisses when Annie wasn't looking. We watched and laughed at various cartoons and ate some snacks together that happy morning. I hung around their house for about 3 hours or so that morning, and it was an enjoyable time for me. I was elated. I had just kissed the girl I came to love, and she had taken me into her home, and her younger sister was cool with that. You see, Dara, what patience and hope get you? You lucky bastard. That kiss you had then was so sweet, wasn't it? I wish I could remember how it felt when we first kissed. It's been so long now, and I have had my filthy lips and all over all sorts of nasty since then, said the sickly writer. Thank you for listening. This is the end of chapter 26. Be on the lookout for chapter 27, titled Passions and Tongues. Until next time, this is Do, Ra, Mi, and I'll see you later. Thank you.